Okay, in the previous package, we created our application for changing a MAC address, and it is working perfect. So now let me collapse this. Okay, so here we have two functions, get argument and also changing the MAC address. It is asking two argument, okay, for interface and new MAC address, and we are calling those two here. We are using it. Now let me create, or before creating, okay, I will do something here. So here we are going to design an algorithm, okay, for changing the MAC address. So first you may ask, what is an algorithm? Okay, an algorithm is steps of writing a program. Okay, we write an application or a program in many steps to solve a problem, so that is called algorithm. Now we are going to design an algorithm here to change the MAC address. So what is those steps that we want to do? Okay, so the first step is to execute and read ifconfig. Okay, execute and read ifconfig. Okay, and what is the second part? Second step, it is to read the MAC address from the output. As you see here, okay, while we are trying to change the MAC address, first we use ifconfig. Okay, so the first part is to write ifconfig, and then like this, like here, to read the command from output. Okay, so this is going to be read MAC address. Okay, read the MAC address, okay, from output. And we have the next part, which is the third part, or the third section, or the third step. In here we are going to check if MAC address in ifconfig is what the user requested. Okay, very easy. So here we just check it. Okay, check if MAC in ifconfig is what the user requested. So this is the third part, and also the final part is going to be the fourth one, and here we are going to print an appropriate message. So let's say appropriate message. Okay, so in this fourth step we are going to write an algorithm here, okay, to do this, to get the goal. The goal is to check if MAC address is changed or not. Okay, very easy. So here I am going to use a function called check output. Okay, and it is from this process. Here I'm going to check that. Okay, I'm going to use that to check if we are executing the ifconfig or not. Okay, so let's do that. Here I'm going to use subprocess dot check output is a function, okay, that belongs to the subprocess, and here inside this I'm going to give the command. Okay, so I'm going to use a list, so it is going to be ifconfig, ifconfig, okay, and what is the second one? And you know, it is name of the interface. Okay, for example, we have LAN 0, we have ETH 0, and a lot of things. Okay, but here we are going to use options dot interface. Okay, that is here, and finally we are going to print this. Okay, so let's use print what? Okay, let's first store this into a variable. I'm going to name it ifconfig result. Okay, ifconfig underscore result, it is assigned to this, and here I'm going to print that. And also I'm not going to change the MAC address. Okay, so let's comment that and save it. Let's come back here I'm going to clear it, okay? And here, right now I'm trying to change the MAC address for ETH0, okay? Now let's, while I'm hitting enter, so it must print the result of ifconfig for me. Okay, as you see, it is printing the ifconfig for me, and that is ETH0, that is, here you see it, okay? And let's see, what else do we have? Where is the MAC address? That is either here, okay? This is it. So right now you see we are changing we're trying to get the output, trying to execute the read ifconfig, okay, execute and read ifconfig. So this is the first part that we have done it, okay? So the second or the next part or the next step is to read MAC address from output. So let's go and do that in the next video. Okay, now we just done the first step, okay? Is execute and read ifconfig. We are able to read the ifconfig, okay? And now it is time to read the MAC address from output, okay? So where is the output? Let me show you. This is the output, okay? And this is the MAC address, okay? So how can I capture only the MAC address and read this, okay? There is something, okay, there is one thing, one thing that is called regex or regular expression. You can use it in any programming language, but in Python, we are going to use it and you are going to learn it how to use it. There is a website, okay, called Pythix, and pythix.org. When you come right in here, okay, and you're going to see something like this. You're not going to see this one, and you're going to see something like this, okay? So here, if you add something, anything, okay, your test here, your test string here in this part, and your regular expression here, and the result will be shown here, and also regular expression cheat sheet also here. So here we have very good description. For example, if you want to use dot at the beginning or anywhere, it is going to match any character, okay, any character. That means all character. And if you use alphanumeric, if you want to find alphanumeric, that is something we are going to use here, okay. That is included from 0 to 9, A to Z, and also A to Z, and also underscore. So we're going to use /w, okay, the small one, not capital one. So let's come back here and let's select our ifconfig result, okay. I am going to select everything from here. I'm going to copy selection, and then I'm going to go to browser. Here I'm going to paste that. So I use Control V. So now it is pasted. So here let's hit dot here, and this is the matched result. As you see right now, it is selected everything, okay. So it is not what we want. So what we want is the MAC address. Where is the MAC address? Let's find that. So either this is the MAC address. As you see, this part, it is called MAC address, okay. So we have two number, and then we have this is called alphanumeric, okay. So we can use this part, okay, /w, alphanumeric, again alphanumeric, 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 and alpha numeric here, okay. And also we have to use colon as well here, okay. So let's do that here. For example, I am going to select /w, that is something that is looked there, okay. So as you see, it's selected all the numeric and also all the alphanumeric, okay, alphabet and also numeric. So it's selected all and everything. I'm going to use it again, /w. So right now it is again selected alpha and numeric, numbers and alphabet. So here, as you see, it is not selected the colon. So let's use colon here. Wow, this time it is better, okay. Right now you see that we selected alphanumeric and we haven't selected the last one. Maybe that is because at the end it doesn't have colon. Okay, because if that is happened, it doesn't select that yet. So what is the solution? Okay, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What if I select, I use \w /w/w 6 times? So I'm sure it's going to solve the problem. Okay, let's go and do that. Okay, /w/w and then colon /w/w colon. Now you see we have selected these 3, 4, 5, and 6. I'm going to select that 6 times. /w/w/w/w/w/w/w. Now, as you see, it's selected only the MAC address, okay, the ether, as you see that here. Right now, it is this one. If it has, for example, alphabet, again, it's going to select it, no problem. So now this is our regular expression. We are going to use it with Python, and if someone trying to learn other programming language like Java or even JavaScript, they can use the same thing. So right now we provided a regular expression to select only the MAC address from ifconfig result, and let's go and see how we can use it to extract this from the output. Okay, so let's go and do that in the next lecture. Now to get this result, okay, or this MAC address from output, which is stored in ifconfig result, okay, we are going to use a module called regex or re. So let's import that. Okay, import re. So okay, so now we have imported this. Maybe it is not already installed. Okay, so if you want to install this, so let me go to here, use pip install re. So this will be installed. Okay, if we have internet connection, so it will be installed. If we don't have it, no problem, later we will install that. Okay, so as you see, it has another color. Okay, it changed color, so maybe it is not installed. Okay, so we're going to use from that, and that re has a function that is called search. Very easy. Okay, now let's use that re.search. Okay, here we are going to provide the regex. Okay, so in here I am going to give the regex pattern that I just created here. Let me copy this and go back to Kali. Here I'm going to paste this. Okay, so this is the first argument that search accepts, and the next one is the resource, or where do you want to search this. Okay, we are going to search this pattern into this variable, which is ifconfig result. Very good. So you need to give that ifconfig result right here. Okay, ifconfig result. So very good. Now we have it here, and it is better to store this into a variable. Okay, so later we can use it. It is going to be MAC address search result. So let's use MAC address search result. It is equal to something like this, and okay, now I think it is installed. Okay, I think I don't have an internet connection, no problem, I will solve that. Okay, so now we have installed the we have stored this into this variable. Okay, so the next part is to just print this. Very easy. Okay, so I just use print method here. Okay, and MAC address search result, and sometimes it returns multiple values. Okay, for example, right now here it is only returning one thing, and that is the MAC address. But sometimes it is returning multiple things, so we need to specify that by using another function that is called group, and here we give the 0, so it will give you the first one, or the specified by 1, so it will give you the next one, which is the second one. Okay, so we have this, and let me go to Python interpreter, see if it is installed. Import RE. Okay, as you see, it gives me no error. That means it is installed. Very good. And is it okay? So what is the next thing we need to do? Right now, if I execute this, so it will give me no error and it will be executed successfully. So let's see that here. So right now I'm trying to change the MAC address for ETH0 and hitting enter, providing the password, which is Kali, and hitting enter. So okay, and here you see it gives me a result, says cannot use a string pattern on byte like object. Okay, no problem. As you see here, it is a string and it is saying that we cannot use this, okay, on object. So it is better to change it to something else. I will be back, okay? Okay, we have RE here, which is going to be an object, and also let's see the error again. What is it giving me? It is saying return this one, okay, and also dot search. Oh my god, this search method must have a string, okay? Anything that it returns, anything you give to this must be string. So here, as you see, the first one, it is a string, and this if config, I think it is not string, okay? So let's provide this as a string and change it to string, str. Now let me save this, and let's go back to our terminal here, re-execute this and hit enter. Okay, now as you see here, okay, the first one, it is giving me the result, okay, the result for ETH0, as you see that here, and then at the end it is printing only the MAC address that we are telling this to print that here. Okay, what if I try to change this for not ETH0, for LO? What will be happening? Let's see. Now when I hit enter, you see that it is printing the LO result here, okay, and it is giving me that the interface is LO, but again it is giving me this result. Why? Because the LO doesn't have any MAC address. So we need to handle that here, okay? After printing or before printing that, we need to handle that using decision making. And you know how to use decision making? That is by using if and else. So here I'm going to use if MAC address search result. If it returns something true, then we will be printing this one, okay? In else part, okay, in else part, let's print could not read MAC address or something like that, okay? So use else and here print that. Okay, here just give okay, could not read MAC address. Now I'm going to save this and let's come back to terminal. Let's use clear. Oops. Okay, right now I'm trying to change it for LO, and you see that it is giving me could not read MAC address, okay? And if I try to change it for ETH0, that is here, and hit enter, you see it is giving me the MAC address. So here we are able to read or capture the MAC address from this output, okay? This is the MAC address for this interface, and we just handled it, okay? So let's go and see how we can improve this in the next lecture. Okay, now the program is almost completed. Okay, we have gone up to here, and let me see the terminal. Here you see while we are executing our program, first it is showing us the result for ifconfig, and then it is printing me the current MAC address. So it is not what we want. Okay, so let's go. What is the next step? It is check if MAC in ifconfig is what the user requested or not. Okay, I will do that in the next lecture, but here I am going to handle this. Okay, as you see, this all is responsible for getting the current MAC address. So I'm going to move this into a new function. Okay, I'm going to cut this, and let's create a new function here. Let's say get current MAC address, and you know that it is asking for interface, getting the interface. So let's hit tab here, and here one thing that we don't need to use is options, and options here is out of this function. It's almost in the other area, and we are not able to access it from here. So I need to remove that option from here. Very good. And print ifconfig result. I don't need to print the result for ifconfig. And then the thing I need here into the if statement, as you see here, we're printing this MAC address search result. It is better to return this. Okay, while we use something in function, it is better to return. Okay, so now it is returning the MAC address search result, and later we can get it here, and then we will be able to use it. Okay, so good. Now let's come right here. I'm going to use that here. Okay, it is get the current MAC address. Okay, so let's use that get current MAC address. Here I am going to give the interface. Okay, options dot interface. Okay, so now we have it. I am going to store this into a variable. Let's name this variable current MAC. Okay, now that we have this current MAC here, I am going to print the current MAC address. So here, while it is trying to change to get the current MAC address, so if it is able to get it, we will be able to print it here. If it is not able to get the current MAC address, so it will print this one, but not read MAC address. So here I'm going to print current MAC address is equal to concatenate this with current MAC. Okay, maybe this current MAC is not a string, so if it is not a string, you need to change it to str, which is string. Okay, now I'm going to save this, and let's go back here. Right now I'm trying to change this for ETH0 or access it for ETH0, and trying to change it. You see it is giving me the current MAC address is equal to something like this. And what if I try to access it for LO, and you see that could not read the MAC address, and current MAC is equal to none. So perfect. Now we are able to have a better look of the error message. Instead of having a lot of things here, we have only two messages: current MAC address is equal to current MAC address, and the current MAC address is equal to none. Okay, so perfect. Let's go and see how we can do the next part, which is check if MAC in ifconfig is what the user requested. So let's go and see that. Okay, now it is time to check if MAC in ifconfig is what the user requested, and also print an appropriate message. So let's uncomment this. Okay, here the first line, the first part which is giving me the current MAC address, and then we are printing that. Okay, current MAC address, and then this will change the MAC address. Okay, So now it is time to use again the current MAC. Okay, let's use current MAC, and it is equal to get what? Current MAC again, and use options dot interface. You may ask, why did you repeat this? Okay, interface, options dot interface, option dot interface. Get arguments here is not what I want. It is get current MAC. Okay, you may ask, why did you repeat this? Because right now we are overwriting this. Okay, right now it has the current MAC, and here we changed the MAC. Now this current MAC has something else. Okay, it has the new MAC address here. Now let's check, okay, if this current MAC is equal, so this two equal mean is going to check the equality. Okay, if it is equal to options dot new MAC. Okay, we have option dot new MAC. Do we have new MAC? Maybe we have it. Okay, option dot new underscore MAC. Then we will be printing something. What is that? Okay, we have the option.new MAC here, and I'm using it here too. So if this current MAC is equal to options.new MAC address, then let's print a very beautiful message here. Okay, and we can say that MAC address was successfully changed to something. Okay, let's use, say, MAC address successfully changed to. Here we are going to give or concatenate the current MAC. Okay, current MAC. If this current MAC is not string, so we need to change it to string. Okay, but right now let's let it be like this, and then we have the else part. In else part we are going to print another message, and it is going to be the MAC address. The MAC address did not change. Okay, let me save this and go back to terminal here, and let's try to change it to this one, and you see it is giving me up. That is because we haven't used sudo. Okay, and you see that the MAC address did not change. That was one of the fix that we just provided. Okay, sudo. Now if I hit enter and provide the password for this, and again it's not changed. Let me go to sudo su, and now if I just use Python MAC changer interface to this one, let's hit enter. Now you see that changing MAC address for ETH0 to this. Okay, and also the MAC address successfully changed to this one. Okay, and also you have seen that while it is not changed, it is giving me the message like this. The MAC address did not change, so I need to change this to negative. Okay, MAC address changed successfully to current. So, and finally you have completed your application. Okay, now you have an application that will change MAC address for you. Okay, so I think it is completed now. Let's go for the next section and see what is next.